so glad that you're all here on my new channel, To Tell It Like It Is. If you don't know who I am, make sure that you look into my first video where I talk about who I am and what I do. And make sure you check out my last video where I talk about one of my favorite shows, How to Get Away with Murder. And just like a few things that I thought that needed to be dived into a little bit more than I did on my blog. So today we're gonna start to get into a new series on relationships. I told y'all it was coming. As many of you know from my first video, I have been in a long relationship, 6.5 years to be exact. Now, like any other relationships, we've had our ups and downs, and we even took like a few breaks in between just to like recollect ourselves. But at the end of the day, we ended up back together, and you know, that's how it's supposed to be. If you had asked me years ago if I would be in a relationship with someone like him who is kind, funny, and essentially another part of me, like crazy, but yeah, I would have laughed in your face. Like, I was out here dating these guys that were considered the bad boy, and you know, I was thinking that that was what I needed at the time, you know, someone that was essentially different from me as a whole person. And honestly, like, I've even dated an atheist, but that's a whole nother story. But at the end of the day, what I thought was my type was not what I needed. And you know, a lot of people have dealt with those same things. So I know a lot of you are like, yeah, like I know what you're talking about, Amelia. But yeah, it's like, you know, those type of relationships is a lot of what teenagers have gone through, like those times where you're trying to get, you know, away from being under your parents and trying to just be rebellious and stuff like that. But you grow up and you realize that's not what you need. To be quite honest, like, I could talk about how bad they were, you know, and how hard they were for my life, and I should have never been with them. But at the end of the day, like, they really showed me who I am as a person, and you know, my worth, and how much I'm willing to take, you know, in a relationship. The reason why we can end up in so many different relationships with the guy or the girl that we think we want can stem from a lot of different things. We might want someone that can help us to rebel against our parents. We might want someone that will be able to fulfill a need that's honestly very temporary and won't really fulfill anything for the long run. And you know, you could also think that you could change somebody. Now, I understand, because I tried to do that too many different times. I thought I could change somebody, and you can't change nobody. They're not going to change unless they want to change. Okay? I mean, let's be honest. I was in too many different relationships, going from person to person, thinking that I would be happy with Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I wasn't, you know? What I realized is that because I was so blinded by the lust and the infatuation that I had with the person that I was with, I was basically refusing to see the signs that the relationship was not gonna work out, which is why I was in relationships that ended after a week, after a day, after a whole month. Like, this is the longest relationship I have been in. Like, facts. Like, just think about it. After all of that, spending time with Tom, Dick, and Harry, I just thought, you know, I would never find somebody that would love me, that would, you know, show me the respect that I deserved. And then here come this guy out of nowhere. Like, what? But I'm really glad that he came in my life, because honestly, like, I wouldn't be as happy and so, you know, outgoing if it weren't for him. But you know, we're not gonna tell him that. So what are the makings for a good and strong relationship? Well, I'm glad you asked. The first ingredient for a strong relationship is trust. According to Psych Central, trust allows a couple to know that their partner is there for them, truly cares about them, is coming from a good place, and supports them. To put it plainly, if there is no trust in a relationship, then you don't need to be in a relationship. Just plain and simple. Each person involved in a relationship wants to feel heard and safe with their partner. If your partner doesn't feel safe within the relationship, then you need to reevaluate what's going on and why you guys don't trust each other, because there has to be something that's, underlying, and, it could be from the past, it could be from something you did, it could be anything, honestly. The number one thing is that you need to make sure that you tackle whatever problem it is head on, and don't try to wait until your frustration builds up. Like, you could even go and make a time to talk about it and hash it out, but don't wait until the person done forgot about the whole thing, and it really don't matter anymore. But at the end of the day, if you are not willing to fix any problem that involves trust in the relationship, then get out of the relationship. Just that's it. The second ingredient for a strong relationship is commitment. Now, I know some of y'all are in college and are like, I don't want to be tied down to somebody, but there are a few people that are really looking for someone to be in a relationship that is committed to two people. As a couple, you work to find a solution to the problem and not walking away. Being committed in a relationship goes both ways. If you or your partner are not willing to have a long-standing commitment or a long-standing relationship with each other, then don't engage. Plain and simple. To keep the commitment going, you can definitely plan something to do together. This can be like going on dates or doing things that you haven't really done with anybody else. I know for me, my boyfriend and I, we went to go to the Museum of Sex. And it's not really what a lot of people tend to think of it as. It's really fun, and I guess it's a better way to understand sex as a whole, I guess. I don't really know. But I mean, it was out of my comfort zone and I actually had fun. So doing something like that can really be beneficial to the long-lasting relationship that you want to have. The third ingredient for a strong relationship is vulnerability. Being vulnerable means that you have to be able to share your feelings and not your thoughts. I mean, for me, it's really hard because I don't really like to get into with my feelings as much, but when I do, it's worth listening to. You don't want to leave your partner guessing how you're feeling. You have to be willing to be open and transparent about the important things. There's always going to be time for fun and games and ha 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 laughs. But when you're trying to be serious, you have to give that same amount of energy when everything is all light and fluffy to when you're trying to be serious. I mean, hey, this goes for men too. I know y'all been taught that you're not supposed to be in tune with your feelings and talk about your feelings, but at the end of the day, you can't expect your girl or your man to be like, yeah, I'm gonna stay for forever not knowing how you feel. That's not how that works. If you're not willing to be vulnerable with your partner, then your partner will basically feel like they can't trust you. And honestly, you have to gain that trust in order to have some sort of relationship. Because remember, that's number one. Building a strong relationship is not that hard to achieve as long as you're willing to follow these steps. An analogy that I love to use is that relationships are like baking a cake. If you follow the ingredients and the instructions, then the cake will come out looking the way it's supposed to be. If you decide that you want to go in without using the measurements that are given and you just want to wing it, then you are more than likely about to see a sunk-in cake and some watery icing, because trust me, that's what you're going to see, and you don't want to eat that. So I mean, if you wouldn't eat it, why would you want to do that in your relationship? Not saying that you have to be perfect, but nothing turns out good if you don't try. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. In my next video, I'll be talking about the do's and don'ts of relationships and how they can thrive. I mean, what else did you think I was going to be talking about? But thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and look out for my next video, which will be out soon. Love you guys. Bye. About my not walking away. About